Hey guys, welcome back to According To. I'm Megan.
And I'm Ciera. For this week's episode, Megan and I are going to be talking about the concept of hobby maxing or hobby stacking, because I feel like it's really grown in prevalence with the growth of habit stacking, and then just people, I think, sharing more and more hobbies online. People are picking up more and more hobbies that they are trying to find time to manage. And we just thought, as two girlies who have some hobbies of our own that we like to try to, incorporate in our routine, it'd be a fun topic to discuss.
So we will dive into that in a little bit, but obviously we like to do our weekly spotlights, any catch-ups with you guys, and then our book updates. So what is your weekly spotlight for this week?
I am coming off of a 3-day weekend that I self-implemented because I took a PTO day on Friday. Our friend got married that day, and so I could have taken a half day, but I was like, whatever, I'm just going to take.
Ciera's got some PTO built up.
I'm going to take a full day off. I don't need to go in that day. And I already, kind of mentally said, if I had to go in for work, usually to see, an eval or something maybe over the weekend, then, I would be willing to do that. But luckily, we didn't have any evals come in. So, I started, my weekend started Thursday night. I got a haircut. That's, debuting in this episode here. And then
she really went crazy. She got a mohawk. For those of you guys who aren't watching,
you better find the video version now because you'll be in for a treat. I just had a wonderful weekend. Wedding on Friday. Our dad's birthday party was on Saturday, and it was just great.
It's not his birthday yet, but we celebrated over the weekend, and so he's just about 60.
Yeah.
It's a big birthday
we can
for him.
I'm sure your spotlight is similar to mine, but then we can kind of go into the weekend. I feel like the birthday party we can talk about a little bit.
I of course also went to our friend's wedding, and then our dad's birthday was Saturday. Sunday I honestly had kind of a nice day too. I went, and what really is nice is as someone who I like to have access to a pool in the summertime, but obviously I don't own a pool, and my close family, my aunt and uncle own a pool, but they're kind of far out of the way, and I don't always reaching out to be hey, can I come use your pool? And so it's nice that our gym has a pool that we have access to. So I really just have been loving going to work out, and then as a little treat afterwards, going and enjoying laying out for a little bit. And honestly, I don't need to be out for a super long time. I think
to get the dopamine
was
hit
at the pool for an hour, and I got a little bit more reading done. And it was so hot where I was I need to.
Did you get in the water?
I did have to get in the water because it was so
that's how you know it's hot.
Unbearably hot. Okay. So I did a little bit of that, and then I had kind of a solo shopping day. I wasn't really in the mood to do any actual shopping, and most of the boutiques, I went to 2 downtown that I hadn't been to before, and then it was Sunday, so quite a few places were closed otherwise. But it was a nice time. So that was my weekend.
Okay, let's get into our dad's birthday party. So our dad doesn't typically throw birthday parties.
Here's the thing. First and foremost, because you might be wondering, why did your dad seemingly sound like he threw his own birthday party? We offered many a times, months leading up to this, kind of being we were the instigators of hey, you've got a big birthday coming up. If you would be interested in not necessarily a surprise party, because obviously we're bringing it up to him. But if you want a party, us to take the lead and plan a party for you, and you just show up, let us know and we'll do it.
And so he was I don't know, I think I want to do a party, but I don't know if I want someone else to set it up and organize it. And so he basically did it all himself. And I'm talking week leading up to it, he's printing out. He's such an interesting guy.
This party might give you a good insight into just how our dad operates.
He has these little happy birthday posters printed out almost hanging just randomly throughout his house, and then he'll overlay some photos of maybe himself,
but
maybe some of his friends, maybe us,
mostly
his
us.
daughters.
And he was well, you guys are my life,
the lights of my life.
How sweet. But it's just this is your birthday party. There should be photos of you.
Balloons scattered about. And then, he did all of this Monday through Wednesday, I guess. And then he was can I have some help with, a couple last-minute things? So I was available on Thursday before Megan was, because I got off of work pretty early. And so I went over to his house. He has been having these 2 light switches that have been driving him crazy. His bathroom upstairs is like constantly staying off despite the switch being on, and like flickers and then just stays off. So he's like, I think I need to switch out the full switch. And then he had like the same issue in the basement. So he needed me there for being the breaker girl of like, he's in the bathroom, we're on the phone, and I'm like flipping different switches, and he's like, okay, that's the right one. And then I'd go upstairs, and then I was upstairs, I was the flashlight holder, because obviously, you know, no direct light when we're working on that stuff.
Right.
So I had a very important role to fill. And then that one went pretty smoothly. He is, of course, like freaking out about like every minor inconvenience, like, you know, related to switching out the switches. They weren't the exact same, so like the color was all off, you know, and then the panel color like was kind of different from like a cream versus an off-white. So he's a little bit annoyed about that. So then we go downstairs to the basement to do that light switch panel, and this is like a set of 3 light switches that go to like, they control 3 different lights. And I kind of like, I like knew that, I guess, but like I didn't really like pay attention. So like when he's telling me, you know, oh, that's the right breaker for like the switch in the garage, I just turned off one breaker, and then like I go downstairs, he's pulling everything apart, and then it's like kind of dark, I'm holding the light, and he like flips the switch next to it to like get more light, and I was kind of like, why does that light work? And so he's like, oh, well, like, you know, we're not doing that light switch. And I was like, Dad, if we are in this light panel, I would prefer all of these breakers are off. I don't need you to get electrocuted. And I'm totally aware, like, that he was not touching that light switch. Like, the odds of him doing anything to, like, have harmed himself when he wasn't adjusting the light switch is, like, slim to none. But I've just always been of the mindset, you know, watching the Sorry Girls, you know, you got to turn off the breaker so you don't get electrocuted. So he's like, okay, fair. You know, it takes 2 seconds. I go upstairs, find the other one. We turn that breaker off. And then he wanted to switch out 2 light switches. The one in the middle was like the first one. We were already working on that one. That breaker had been turned off. The one that he turned the light on and off, we weren't messing with at all, but we did turn that breaker off. And there's a third switch that he did want to switch that is not connected to a light, so we don't know which breaker it is attached to.
Apparently a third one, though.
Apparently a third one, because, well, we think. He, like, trying to mess with that one. He's like, I think I felt a shock. And I was like, Dad, don't touch that one. Because we needed a meter or something to be able to see if it had electricity running through it. And, like, the light switch is not connected to anything. It's not that big of a deal. So I was like, we'll just leave that one alone. Change the middle one. Call it a day. And, you know, that's what we did. So that was my help with him on Thursday. And then I had to run and get my hair cut. So Megan went over for a little bit. I don't know if you had anything fun to add.
The only thing that I helped him with on Thursday evening was blowing up some balloons. And I offered other help, and he's like, no, I think I'm good. Which he should have asked for more help. So then lead into Saturday.
Flash forward to Saturday. Party's at 4:30. Megan had texted being like, if you need any help before the party, like, let us know. And then Haley had said her and Ashton were going over like around 3:30 or something.
Like an hour to 45 minutes before, just to like help get things
situated. So it's okay, maybe like just like setting food up and stuff.
And he called me and said like, you feel free to come like at the same time, like 3:30ish. So I was like, okay, we'll be there.
So we actually get there at 3 o'clock. And, you know, I'm like, oh, like that sign could have been put up like on Thursday probably, like when Megan got there. Because I was in the midst of setting both of those signs up with him. But whatever. And so like the tables had to get tablecloth and like taped down so they didn't blow away. So Megan and I did that. He was running to the store to go, or to Jimmy John's to go pick up the food that we were catering. And then he's like, you know what else? Like, I want the foosball table up here.
And the foosball's in the basement. And the foosball table's not very
like,
easy
you have
to maneuver.
To take it apart in order to get it out the door, because with the width of the table and then like the, you know, bars or whatever to play the game, like it doesn't fit through the door unless you turn it sideways, in which case you then need to take the legs off. And so Megan's like down, you know, getting to work, taking off the legs. I was like, where'd Megan go for a second? Because, you know, I lost her, and then I found you downstairs.
And we had like just people were helping us getting food situated, getting drinks in the coolers. Our dad had labeled signs everywhere in this place.
Yeah, he was like, leave your shoes on.
He had a sign at the door that says, please leave shoes on, which is like so many people I'm sure are like, why? But that's just what he wanted.
And like every trash.
I guess it was like in and out of the garage. So like it was like a party in his house, but also like extended into the garage. Yeah. So that makes sense.
But signs ever for like trash cans. This is for bottles and cans. This is for trash. this is for whatever. He's just very specific about that. Cooler's the label, obviously. You know, this is the soda cooler, this is the beer cooler, this is the water cooler. So the food bowl table was quite a task to get upstairs.
Like 2 of our uncles brought stuff for like karaoke, or maybe it was just one, but like I don't know. It seemed like they both brought components of a karaoke setup. Just because that's like a thing that one of them likes to do.
You know, we came to the realization that like we could have done karaoke in a much simpler way. It may not have been to like the level,
like his setup,
you know, that they like, but he definitely needs to like update his setup, I think, for it to be like most user friendly. Just because we were using 2 microphones, the computer's from like 2005 or something. It's crazy old, and like the mics. And like one of them between was working, the music one wasn't working. And the ducking of the mics, like it was just the levels were all off. So you know that could be coordinated better in the future, I think. But overall, it was fun, and we did get up and sing karaoke twice. One time with our dad and Haley, and then the other time, a couple of our aunts were going up there, and they kind of you girls can sing us in, 9 to 5 with us. And I was like, okay, sure. And then. Yeah, Meg and I were out of there at like 9:30 because I had left Vegas at home for a while, and so I felt like I had to come back and relieve him. Yeah, it was a band themed party, so we each had like everyone was supposed to wear.
It's funny. Dad was like, t-shirts. He likes my shirt, and it's like an oversized shirt, and so he was kind of like, "Do you think you're gonna like wear that again?" And I was like,
"Oh my god, does he know it's like, from the Target Wild Fable section?"
I said it was from Target.
That's so funny.
I might wash it and give it to him. Assuming
try not to dry it then, yeah. That would be so funny. Like Dad's like, and this is my t-shirt from
I don't think he's gonna wear it. You know what I mean? Like just like his other band shirts. It's not like he wears those.
That's funny that he like was like, "You gonna use that shirt?
Your shirt. I like it.
Give it to me.
Give it to me." It's just like a Bon Jovi.
Check out Wild Fable Bon Jovi at Target. You'll find it. Yeah, I don't think we have anything else to talk about for the party. So much food. Way too much food. So much so that our dad has invited us to his house this Wednesday for a cake and ice cream night. I don't think anyone cut into that cake.
It was quite the cake. Our cousin, she makes cakes and cupcakes and stuff. And, like, it was a layered cake with, like, rock and roll theme. It was impressive.
Like, I think no one wanted to be the one to, like, cut into it.
But there was also cupcakes. So it was, like... Yes.
So... You know, I'm just sure he had so much food left over. Anyway, book updates, if we're done with that stuff. I am still reading The Conditions of Will. I think that's what I was reading last time we talked to you guys. I need to finish it ASAP because we're supposed to have a book club podcast coming up this weekend. So,
I just finished this morning Going Zero, which I still can't remember the author's name, but it was good. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, and... I am not quite sure what I'm wanting to read next, so TBD.
A novella?
Oh, yeah. I was telling Ciera possibly a novella, but I still, like, I'm not sure which one, but it'd be nice to have, like, a super quick start and finish the book because I feel like, for whatever reason, just has not been happening with me lately. I did start, and I'm only, like, through, like, the introduction, but Men Who Hate Women is on Spotify, actually, too. So... I finished, like, the introduction portion of that. We'll see if I intersperse it.
I think it's a good, like, I kind of read it all at once because I just, like, wanted to finish it before I started another book. But I think it'd be a good one for you to, like, just intermix, like, if you're driving or something.
Yeah.
Add it in. I need you guys to, like, let me know, like, as we get into, you know, hobby maxing, which is part of this episode, but, like, this is kind of related to that. I have been utilizing audiobooks much more this year. And a lot of people recommended Libby, and I use my 10 hours of Spotify, like, monthly. I even topped up one time, like, last month. But ideally, you know, I don't want to do that. And I'm just curious. I know Libby is free, obviously, but, like, are you guys just waiting months to, like, let the audiobooks select you? Because...
Ciera's a mood reader.
Yeah. Like, I want... If I need an audiobook, it's because I'm reading the book right now, and I need to, like, read it now. You know what I mean? So... That's my issue. The Conditions of Will isn't even on Libby, on audiobook in my library. So,
and you're out of Spotify minutes?
Yes. You know what I was going to do? Because you listen to Conditions of Will on Spotify, right? I went so far as to be like, could I re-listen to something that's already been listened to? And I was going to maybe use your Spotify. but I try to go on my Spotify to re-listen to a book that I've already listened to, and it still doesn't count. It says you've run out of minutes, and I don't want to use your minutes, so
I don't want you using my minutes either.
So that is my conundrum right now. Anyway, sorry, did you have something else to add?
I just said that is a conundrum.
Shall we get into the episode?
Let's.
Okay. Let me pull up our little outline. Okay, so hobby maxing, hobby stacking. What is it?
I feel like it's any time that you are doing a collective of 2 or more hobbies at the same time. That's it.
And why would anyone feel the need to hobby max?
I personally,
hobby
the
stack?
times that I have been wanting to hobby max are typically related to, like, my priority in terms of, like, hobbies for me, myself and I, is probably reading. Like, I just try to prioritize, and, like, this sometimes I think gamifies reading, and some people don't like that, and they don't like having, a reading goal.
Yeah, this is why hobby maxing can be controversial in terms of, like, hobbies, are supposed to be for leisure. And so sometimes people think that you shouldn't be doing more than one at the same time because it takes away, like, why you're trying to fit in as many as you can at one time. Like,
you can just enjoy one at a time.
So we can get into, like, the pros and cons.
However, like, I have to admit, whether it's, like, it could be that I'm really invested in a book that I'm reading and I want to, like, keep doing that. Or it could be that I just notice that I tend to neglect other hobbies that I enjoy, but I maybe am not prioritizing compared to others. And so realistically, I find that it is going to help me just do the hobby period if I stack it with something else. So, like, crocheting has been that hobby has been out
That's your
of
back burner
commission
hobby.
for a while. I have not done any crocheting really at all in, like, months. And when I was doing, like, a project, it would be nice to, sometimes I would just do that, but I'd have, like, a show or something on in the background, which, like, I wouldn't say a show is particularly, like, a hobby. But then sometimes, rarely, I would, like, do an audiobook while I was crocheting. And it just allows me to sometimes feel like I can still do the reading that I'm more consistently doing, and that, like, I kind of want to maintain a regular
because do you feel
progress
bad
with
when you, like, if you were to, like,
the
do
hobby
more crocheting, then you'd be like, I haven't been able to read, and, like, now I feel bad.
Yeah. And, like, when I was crocheting regularly, like, my reading was less. It just is the way it goes.
Mm-hmm. I feel similarly to when I was doing, like, my half marathon training. Like, I was spending so much more time running, and, like, for whatever reason, like, when I was doing my half marathon training, I was basically exclusively listening to, like, music usually when I was running, and that took a lot of time from, like, time that I had spent reading before starting running. And then I felt like, it was dinging how many books I had, read by, X time last year because of, like, the time that I had allocated towards running, I couldn't allocate towards reading. And so now I see when I do run now and I'm not training for anything, it's, like, an opportunity for me to still run, but then, like, now I can hobby stack with, like, an audiobook. So that's been something I've been trying to do. I'm still not running consistently.
TikToks of this
Yes,
situation.
So that's my speed read series if you guys are interested, where I go on a run and I listen to an
And then you're
audiobook.
almost hobby maxing TikTok making as well.
So it's been a fun way to, like, incorporate all those things together. I feel like that's also, like, the added interest, at least in my opinion, for viewers who are watching that TikTok, because it's like, oh, like, combining multiple things at once. If there's someone who also reads and also runs, I feel like it's, like, a niche audience that, like, would enjoy that type of content.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you don't run, and I feel like you like the videos, maybe?
I've watched both of them.
There's 3.
3 of them. I've watched all 3 of them. I know I have. I'm sure I've liked them all.
So, yeah. I think, if you guys have hobbies, please let me know, like, if you do more than one at the same time, like, how do you combine them? Because to me, reading is one that, like, makes the most sense, because, and correct me if you can think of another example, in order to hobby stack, you have to have different senses, for different things. If you're doing something,
many hobbies are hand heavy.
yes. So if you're doing something tactile, then you can't also be doing something else that requires the use of your hands. That's why the audiobook is good to, do that. Okay. Do we think that hobby maxing as a trend has become prevalent more recently?
I feel like more so than that, people are wanting... I'm kind of thinking of just like hobbies in general, which like then lends itself to hobby maxing. But I feel like people have the urge and yearn to get off of their phones and decrease their screen time. And I feel like that's a pretty like relevant topic of conversation no matter what. I think people are kind of like, yeah, screen time for everyone in the world is insane. Collectively, we all agree like probably good to decrease it if and when you can. And so I feel like as a result of that, people are like, what do we do not on our phones? What do we do outside of being on our phones to stay busy and entertained? And so I think that has led to like an uptick in like the different hobbies that like everyone kind of jokes about, like, girls becoming grandmas again because they're picking up all the same hobbies that their grandmas used to be doing. And then that also just, when you've got the multitude of hobbies that you're trying out and you kind of like a few here and there, then you've got, again, like just the choice is now, okay, which one do I want to do? How am I going to try and be consistent with all of them? How am I going to include them all? Because we're all still busy people, and you're trying to, like, maybe you're just doing like trial and error of what one do you feel like you like the most, or maybe you just like multiple things and you're trying to fit them all in.
I've also seen, related to like everyone having busy lives and stuff, people, like, if they feel burnt out at work, trying to focus on like their life outside of work and trying to make that part of their life as enjoyable as possible. And that has led to like an uptick in people pursuing different hobbies or like looking for different activities to do outside of work so that they can feel fulfilled in that way. And so I feel like that's also lended itself to people increasing the amount of hobbies that they're doing or trying. And also, like, just because, like, people post on social media, oh, I'm trying this hobby out, like, just there's more eyes on it that then people feel encouraged to then maybe try said hobby. Like clay making, I've never actually tried it, but like, oh my god, I want to.
Right.
I see so many TikToks about it. It looks so fun.
Making little magnet things for the fridge.
That's how I started reading. It was just like I saw a lot more people on social media reading, and I was like, well, shoot, like I used to like reading, and now I'm kind of jealous that you guys are all reading. So like maybe I should try reading again. I think it just helps seeing other people doing it, and it is kind of like that
part
aspirational aesthetic purpose.
This is almost a downbleed of like COVID in a way.
Probably,
like, because people had so much time on their hands. I feel like reading definitely like became more popular, especially like just posting about it on TikTok post-pandemic. But I feel like that really could bleed into a lot of hobbies, honestly.
Yeah, I could see that for sure being a thing. I feel like I was saying something before.
Sorry to interrupt.
But now I don't know what I was saying. So
were you talking about the magnets and the ceramic stuff still?
I remember what I was talking about. I feel like sometimes when you see that stuff on TikTok, yeah, some of it just like looks fun, so you want to do it, but like how much of it is also like the aesthetic, like, oh, to live that kind of life would be kind of nice,
like to whatever be that girl like, that is making her little
like sourdough even, is a hobby, like making, like cooking, baking, whatever. Like when people post videos of them doing those types of things and it looks aesthetic, looks a certain way.
That's why like the tasty cooking videos, when those were popular, like that type of cooking video, it makes it seem like you can make anything, because it's like they're not showing the mess of it, they're not showing the cleanup.
Everything is pre-measured. You dump. Oh, easy, I could do that. And then you're like, you look to the side, oh, all these dishes are dirty. Do you think
the illusion? I
would love to like get into like my cooking or baking era.
I don't feel that way,
but like I think I follow someone actually on TikTok. I don't remember her username, but she, like, her shtick, I guess, that she like hosts events and stuff for her friends in her apartment.
I would love to like do the hosting component,
but like
you do the
so
cooking,
much work.
I'll do the decor.
I've shown you stuff that she does, right? And it's like she's got decor, she's got elaborate like recipes that she's baking or cooking, and then they're like doing a hobby, like almost like at every gathering, like they made little like hobby punch cards or something. Like it's crazy, and like I want that life because it looks so like aesthetic and pretty, and I would love to like take a picture or post a video or like do something similar. But then it's just me wanting to copy her because it looks a certain way. I mean, I love hosting. Like, that's kind of partly why we do book club. But I love the idea of doing that sort of event. I don't know if I would actually enjoy putting it together.
I think it'd be a mix of both. I think you'd be like, this was super fun and I enjoyed this, but like just kind of how it's become with book club, like we did a little bit more like showing up, showing out initially when we were hosting, and I liked doing that. I think it was fun, but like at its core and the heart of book club is like the purpose of it is to get people and our friends together to hang out. And so the hosting and the aesthetic goes by the wayside because it's not the most important thing.
Like we would have not themed, but like Meg and I would say, here's what we're doing for food. And like catering is not the right word for it, but like we would like order or like pick up something. And it's like, everyone, it's Fazoli's tonight. We're doing a fancy pasta dinner with some pizza. We're doing a bag of lemonade. And, you know, Meg and I are setting up this elaborate, you know,
like our very first book club, we had gotten books from Goodwill. And we tore pages out of the book to like use as table decor.
Yes.
For that table.
And then, like, one of the ones that we did when it got nice out in the summertime, we got, like, everything outside. I got pictures of that still. That was such a nice little setup. We got our grandma's she had, like, a thing we used for, was it tacos that we did or something? So we had, like, the meat was in its little warm cowboy caviar. Thing. We bought, like, plastic.
And then,
like liquid dispensers, drink dispensers.
And then a couple months down the line, at one point, someone suggested we just do a potluck, and then
that's
it has
been life-changing.
A potluck ever since.
It honestly is so nice because it gives you like a wide variety of foods, which like sometimes you want something like a quick little sweet snack here, and then like something savory. So that's been life-changing and much easier on us because we only have to bring one thing. And now we just open up our door. We try to make sure we clean the place first, but that's about it.
There's no extensive decoration
and
or anything.
I would say I still would like more people to read, you know, the books as we discuss them. But the percentage of people who show up to book club having read the book has significantly dropped.
There's been multiple times now, like this is almost kind of like the running thing now where it's like the book that we're reading has extended on to like a second month.
Because I think for our last book club, we read The Tenant by Freida McFadden. Meg and I had read it. The 3 people that showed up had not read it.
And then we had a couple
other people that hadn't
3 people
shown up did read it.
So now we're like, okay, fine. Like, we're just going to talk about it again at the next book club.
So, because it'll just be Meg and I talking to each other. So, which actually works out. Like, I'm not going to complain because we have, you know, between the podcast book club and that book club, I'm feeling kind of busy. So, I'm happy with.
So this frees up our reading schedule a little bit.
Okay. Do you think that hobby maxing is kind of related to hustle culture, or like that same sentiment of like trying to get things done? I am the girl that does it all.
A little bit. And like I wish I could rewire my brain in a way to make it so that wasn't so. But like I have a really hard time. Again, I'm coming back to like the reading specifically. Like I feel really bad when I am like not prioritizing.
Which is so crazy because like literally 5 years ago you did not read.
I know. So it's like, but the idea of like starting a crochet project and just focusing on that, like to me personally, I'm just like, I am gonna feel bad about that.
Do you think, because obviously like, you know, at the end of the day, does it matter if you read 60 books this year? No.
And I'm ahead on my books.
You know,
like,
no one cares if you read 60 books
except
ahead. For maybe you. But do you feel like part of it is like that Goodreads challenge of like, oh, I said I want to read this many books this year and like I want to make sure I hit that?
I think part of it
is definitely a thing for me.
I think maybe, but like knowing that I'm so far ahead, it really shouldn't be like bothering me that much. I think it's more so, and maybe it would help me. I think it's knowing that like on kind of what I would consider like my good pace of like reading books, I'd probably like am reading at least once, like one book a week. And I think that it's like knowing that
who cares?
I know. I'm just saying this is how my mind works. I think knowing that that's kind of like the typical pace that I'm reading a book, and I've been like worse than that, I'm already kind of like, ugh, and now you just want to like make it even like worse for yourself. It doesn't make sense. No one cares if I'm reading a book or not. But
no, I get it. I'm right there with you.
I think my
Goodreads has been on my butt of like, you are right on track, girl. And I'm like, I'm trying to hurry.
Like, I swear I have to be like 8 books ahead of my.
That's crazy.
Goodreads. I'll look.
I will look too. I think I might be one behind now, but I think last time when I had finished a book, it said that I was just on track.
Also, you guys,
did you see Goodreads updated its
I have read
logo.
40 of 60 books. That's my goal, and I'm 6 books ahead of schedule.
I've read 27 of 50, and it says, press on, read one book to get back on track. That stresses me out. So that's kind of why I feel the need to read, because I'm like, I do want to meet this goal that I've arbitrarily set for myself. And so I know if I like get too far behind, then like it's gonna be hard to catch up.
Yeah. No 2026 reading goal.
We need to abandon
But then
it.
it's like, do you think you, like, without a reading goal, I just feel like inevitably I would fall even more behind, like, with the reading. And I don't want to do that because I feel like it is a good outlet to make sure, like, I'm dedicating time outside of my phone. Like, just in and of itself, I feel like it's a good measure of, like, am I doing things besides just being on my phone?
Do you know, like, what your average screen time is these days? Did it just pop up yesterday?
It did. It was like 4 hours and something minutes.
Okay, I think mine was 4 hours and 20 minutes. So I wasn't sure.
Let me look.
Which, I mean, unlike you, I don't really feel like I have a specific, like, screen time that I try to avoid.
I've definitely, like, my screen time stuff from earlier in the years, like, gotten
more lax.
Do
you still have any, like, locks on any apps
I have
or
the
something?
TikTok lock, but sometimes on the weekend I will ignore it. I try to be like, don't, but I've also, like, if there's nothing else I'm doing and, like,
And you're like, I just want to scroll.
yeah, then I have been kind of like
Like, as long as you don't use it to avoid.
And who's to tell me otherwise?
Yeah.
But sometimes too, like, if it's like I get my hour and a half and it's like right before, like, if it's like 8 or 9 o'clock, I do try to be like, okay, like, just
Be done.
call it good for today and wait till it unlocks tomorrow.
Okay.
I was trying to find, hold on. Past week. Last week, my average was 4.5 hours. And then the week before was like 5.5, so it was definitely worse. So I'm not a perfect person. Shocking.
Do you feel like, let's say within the past year, how many hobbies have you tried or, like, continued? How many have you stuck to? And then the ones you didn't stick to, like, what led to their downfall? Would you pick them back up?
I would say reading, crochet. This hasn't ever been like a huge hobby of mine, but like I do have this stuff for it, and like making little charms, which is enjoyable.
I would like to try
but it's
that
kind of like one of
more.
those things where it's like I pull it out and I do it and I make 1 or 2 of them in
Then
like
you're kind of over
10,
it.
15 minutes, and I'm like, okay, like this was good, that was fine. What else? You know what I want to start, and I was gonna try and look for this over the weekend, but like they're kind of harder to find than you would think.
What?
I keep wanting to try one of those sticker coloring books because I think that would be satisfying. And
I
it would,
think that would,
scratch
like,
and
annoy
itch.
me.
Really?
I think that, like, trying to get it to fit just perfectly would, like, drive me insane.
See, I think that over like drawing or doing something more creative.
My iPad coloring book where I just tap it and fill it in. No, that was a recent itch that was scratching my brain, you guys. I don't know what the app is called, but it's like a coloring app.
The crocheting has fallen off, and I would like to get back into it, but it's like I have such a hard time picking what project that I want to invest the time into.
I thought you were going to make me a Kindle cover.
I know, and then I kind of started getting overwhelmed with like picking a
Oh my
pattern to
gosh.
do for you.
Just do white.
And then I was
I want
like,
like a white envelope with a red heart. Pretty please.
maybe.
Some of the hobbies that I have been either keeping up with or tried to like implement, I would say reading obviously is the main one. And then I've tried book journaling as like an adjunct to my reading because I realized, you know, I want to do something creative, but I'm not very good. Like, I used to actually draw and paint a lot when I was younger. And I've actually looked into maybe wanting to get one of those like watercolor little booklets because I think that's something that I, you know, would be capable of doing since it's basically like a paint by numbers type of situation. So maybe I'll look into getting one of those. But I just wanted to like make something that I thought was like pretty or looked cool or was interesting. But like I'm not much of a scrapbooker. So book journaling felt like a good like in between of all that stuff. And it's been like, you know, when I first started it, like I was in it, doing it like, you know, pretty regularly, like every like 1 or 2 weeks. And then like I had a long hiatus probably for like the length of time from like all of my running or something, like from January to, you know, May, June. I didn't touch it at all. And then Also, like, the longer you go without, like, book journaling, it's almost more daunting to get back into, because I'm like, I've read so many books since I last book journaled. Like, now I need to add all of this stuff in. Like, you know, ideally I would make a spread for, like, this year of how many books I read, but, like, the year's halfway over, so, like, I don't really want to do that now, so I haven't. But
don't you like printing all the books?
I do like printing the books. That's, like, one of my favorite parts.
So there you go. That should motivate you to, like, make one.
But, like, the thing with the 2024 books is that, like, I didn't print those out. Those were, like, the spines of the books, and I had, like, the library that I drew. So it's different. But there are different spreads that I could do. You're right. So I've been trying to get more back into that one. I recently had, like, a Hobby Lobby run that I did to get more stuff for the book. And so that one's been kind of sporadic. I probably haven't touched it for, like, a week or two. But before we had gone on vacation, I was maybe, like, you know, like, 1 or 2, maybe 3 sit-down sessions of me doing it. And then, again, hobby stacking, I would listen to an audiobook when I was doing it. And so that was, like, a nice way to, you know, listen to something, feel like I was reading and allocating time for that, but then being, like, doing something else.
You know what I love?
What?
When I'm mowing the yard and I've got an audiobook to listen to.
That's not hobby stacking.
I do sometimes do podcasts. I know, but, like...
That's habit stacking.
Yeah.
Running, I would consider running more of a hobby now. Like, I do, like, obviously it's a workout too, but I don't know. Would you consider working out a hobby?
I think it can be. Like, I think
there are certain types of workouts that, like, are for sure hobbies. Like, rock climbing is for sure a hobby.
But I think it's, like, I almost feel like it's not fair to then say, like, no workout could be a hobby because, like, okay, my preferred form of working out is, you know, weightlifting or resistance training. So, like, that's what I don't know. I think it definitely fits within the realm of, like, if people are kind of like, what do you do in your free time? Then, like, I feel like...
Don't you feel kind of pretentious saying that, though? Because I do.
Yeah.
And, I mean...
I don't know. I don't have a good yay or nay answer for that.
Anyway, so, like, for some reason, like, running, I feel like is something I can include in, like, a hobby, but, like, I wouldn't count working out as a hobby. I don't know why. And then, is there anything else that I do as, like, a hobby? Content creation? That's not really. You consider a hobby?
I feel like the more we've gotten away from it as, like, a means to make a living and as a job, yeah.
Okay.
Like, we certainly aren't doing this for the money anymore.
Yeah,
we were never doing it for the money, you guys.
We can't hobby stack while we're podcasting, that's for sure. Actually, we're vlogging. We're vlogging our week this week
right now.
But I would say those are my main ones. As far as hobbies that I would maybe like to pick up, I don't know. I think there's ones that I would like to try and then maybe see what sticks. The clay magnet one would be fun to try. I don't know if it would be something that I would do regularly.
I feel like that'd be fun to do as kind of like hosting a group of people because you're probably getting a lot of supplies to like just try one hobby out.
That's the other issue with like hobbies is sometimes the cost to just like try a hobby out is like daunting. Like crochet stuff, I don't know how much you feel like you need to get when you first start.
It's definitely not like the most expensive stuff ever. Like you can get your starter stuff for a pretty reasonable price, and then like the yarn just kind of depends on, you know, whatever it is your project is. But if you're just doing that, it's not too steep of an investment. And then I've done pretty much all of my learning through like YouTube videos and or TikTok videos.
Do you remember
if you
like,
first learned crochet
thing that you did, the
animals?
Yeah.
I also learned from, well, honestly, like I did most of my learning for those stitches like pre-Wooble, even though a lot of the videos kind of explain it too. But like when I was first getting started, like the Wooble was not a starting point for me really. I was like, whoa,
too much,
what's
too
going
fast
on here? A little bit. Crochet when you first are learning is actually a second language. Do you remember that initial project that I first got and it was supposed to be like some sort of elephant or something? And I was like, I pulled it out thinking like, okay, in a couple hours I will have a crochet elephant of some kind. And then I was just like, I'd never heard of any of the stitches before. I had no idea what was going on. And I was like, okay, wow, I'm
Overwhelmed.
setting this aside.
I do remember that. Book journaling, I feel like, is kind of a higher cost to entry, just because like you need to get all of this stuff that you think you might want to get. But then like once you get the supplies, like you can use them for an extended period of time before you have to like get anything else. And I love like the markers make it so fun. I've got a nice Micron pen. My Sprocket makes it so fun. Like I feel like if you're gonna book journal, get a Sprocket so you can print stuff out and get the sticky paper so you can just cut it out and paste it right on. So like it's probably like I probably spent like hundreds of dollars to like get markers, pens, all the scrapbooky type stuff, journal, and then the Sprocket collectively. That's a pretty high, entry for a hobby. But then like I've only done one restock since buying all that stuff initially of like more scrapbook stuff, and I didn't need to. I just like wanted different styles of stuff. So in that sense, maybe it's not too bad. You just would have to stick with it for it to be worth it. We just about what's the return on, like, not cost per wear, but like cost per use, I guess. Like wanting to drive the cost down of something you spent money on to make it worth your while. Usually in the realm of clothing is when we talk about this, but could be applied to hobbies as well. You need to make X many crochet projects for it to be worth it.
I need to use up all my yarn for it to be worth it.
Yeah, you have a lot of yarn now, but that was partly courtesy of Haley because she bought you a lot of yarn.
Yeah, and also like there's some yarn that like I don't like as much, and I haven't like initially I didn't know like what yarn I did and did not like, and now I feel like I have yarn that I don't really like and don't really want to use, but I have it.
Could you donate it somewhere?
Maybe.
Okay. Does social media make hobbies less fun because we feel like we have to post them? Do you post when you do your hobbies often? Or like if you finish a project? Do you feel like there's some sort of like social media incentive?
I know I've posted videos of like when I finished both of the bags that I've crocheted. I did post like quick little TikToks of that. But there's also other projects I've made that I haven't posted, so I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm like super like, oh, I finished this and I'm going to post about it. I feel like content creation wise, the most I post about is definitely probably reading related, whether it's like I'll sometimes do like reading wrap ups as well as like how much can I read in 1 hour.
Mm-hmm. But I do feel like we also
separate them
in some ways, like related to our YouTube channel and our vlogs. Like we obviously pick up the hobbies because we enjoy them, but I do think like, if I book journal tonight, like that would be like interesting to show in the vlog. Like there are certain things that you think about to make the vlog more interesting, and like, oh, if I do one of my hobbies tonight, then like that's more entertaining than me being like, oh, I watched TV for 2 hours.
Yeah,
so
I would agree with that.
In that sense, I feel like it's more of a driving force of like, I could do this or this, and maybe I want to watch TV, but maybe I should do my hobby to like be more interesting tonight or something. Not often, but like I feel like it could help you lean one way or the other with what you're deciding to do for the night. Also related to me for running, when I was training for the half marathon, I didn't really post much about it because like unless we were vlogging or something.
You really could have been. You could have been making
I should
content
have
on that.
But now, having nothing I'm training for, if I do decide to go on a run, I'm like, well, I need to post a TikTok about it because otherwise, why am I running? Like, what's the point of me going for like a 4, 5, 6 mile run just for the fun of it? For my health? No, I need to make content out of this.
Is it really bad if it like gets you to do it though?
I mean, I guess not. Having run 6 miles is better, even if you're doing it for TikTok, than
not running at all.
Not running at all. So, I don't know. I feel like social media can be a good incentivizer, a good motivator, but you'd have to make sure you're not taking it too far where it's making you like inauthentic. So that's probably the fine line between like with social media and hobbies that you're trying out. What are you trying because it actually intrigues you? What are you trying because you just want to be like, it girl, social media, everyone's doing it. And I feel like naturally, like you're not going to do something you don't want to do. So naturally the ones that don't interest you or pique your interest, like those are going to fall to the wayside, and maybe you've just wasted money, but yeah, whatever. Okay. Let's talk about the 3 hobby rule. Do you know? We kind of talked about it before, but do you remember it?
Oh gosh, I know that I'll like have known. I know I've heard this. Something you can.
You're about to like do like the thing people do for anxiety. Think of 5 things you can see.
No.
Think of 5 things you can touch.
Just tell me. I don't know.
1 active, 1 creative, 1 social. Those are like, if you're going to have hobbies in life, that's like the recommended like different realms of hobbies that you should have. So let's talk about what hobbies we have fall into those hobby rules. What's your active hobby?
I do, when it's not unbearably hot, like I love a good hot girl walk situation. That's probably like, especially when I kind of combine it with like, oh, I've got a podcast I want to listen to, or
see, that's almost like hobby
audiobook.
maxing or hobby stacking can make those like small tasks like that much more something you look forward to. Like going for a walk is nice, but if you say I have this podcast that I really want to listen to, or like this audiobook that I really want to listen to, paired with this hot girl walk.
Also, usually like I like to go somewhere usually for those if I can, just like a little bit.
Well, you've
more
been going to Gray's
picturesque.
Lake more, like you've been implementing those walks with your podcast or your audiobooks.
Just more interesting than walking around the neighborhood. So that would probably be like, besides just like my typical working out, that's probably the activity that I do the most otherwise. Pickleball, like here and there, but like it's been a while.
Once this
probably
summer.
been a year. It's also been so hot. Like
No,
I
literally.
actually can't imagine going out and playing pickleball.
It's supposed to cool down this week.
I know.
70s. That's gonna be like majestic.
I know. So maybe pickleball. Otherwise, the rare
Pickleball is
occasions I
hard
do
on
it.
the knees.
What about you? What are your?
I mean, running with an asterisk, I would say, is like an active hobby. I mean, I can't really think of like, other than working out like I do regularly, like, but again, I don't know if I feel like that's a hobby.
Like, we aren't bikers. We aren't like kayaking or canoeing or anything like that. We're not fishing, which could, I think.
And I
be
feel like,
considered, an
honestly,
active
let me like
hobby.
say my caveat too. I think working out, like resistance training or lifting, can be a hobby for people who like really get into it and like, they converse with other people about like what they've been doing. Like, this is my like split. Like, I think that it can be like that fun factor of like, what are you doing and like how are you, organizing your lifts. I just go to work out and then I leave. So it doesn't have that like excitement to it to make it like a hobby for me. Running, I also like wouldn't say is necessarily exciting for me, but it feels like it's more difficult for me than lifting. And so I feel like I'm pushing myself to do something. I don't know if that makes it a hobby, but I feel like I had to get into like the world of like running to train for the half marathon. So I feel like I know more now and appreciate it more than like, before all that training. So for now, I'll still consider it a hobby. And then 1 active, 1 creative.
I feel like for me, like crochet is that one. Whenever I do bring it around,
I would say book journaling would be my creative hobby whenever I bring it around. And then social. What's a social hobby?
I feel like, would you consider book club a social hobby?
That's like the only thing I could think of. I don't know if like, can you consider book clubbing a hobby? I don't know.
Like what else, like what other thing do you think people put in this category that like?
I don't know. I feel like rock climbing,
Chess
like
club.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff where it's like it has to be done within a community. We should get back into chess.
Because
I do like the idea of like, we had I would say a phase. It was like a very like not serious,
but like we know how to
short
play.
phase. But like, I would like to learn how to get better at playing chess. But I deleted the chess app, and so I'd have to I'd have to get back into it. But I'm not opposed.
Does Andrew play chess?
I mean, he knows how to. There's actually, how Paws and Pints has that giant chessboard. We were like trying to play there. I believe it was a draw. So maybe we could learn how to play chess again together. I don't know. I don't know what else I would say for social. I guess book club for us right now.
It's gonna have to be.
Anyway, this podcast we're socializing with you guys. So that could be our social one. Okay. Do you feel like you've stopped any hobbies because you haven't been good at them, and so like you just didn't want to do it anymore?
Probably, but I can't think of what those would be off the top of my head.
Do you think that you're someone who typically...
I tend to not like doing things that I'm not good at.
I would agree with that.
Because then it's not very enjoyable. I'm not good
I'm
at
like,
it.
this is ugly. If I'm like
crochet
something.
has been one of those things where it's like I wasn't good at first, but then like I could tell like with practice like I was gonna get better. And again, I can't really like, I'm not thinking of a hobby per se off the top of my head where this has not been the case and I've given up. But generally, even like speaking beforehand, like I kind of have an intuition of like, oh, this will or will not be for me.
How many hobbies have you not tried because you're like, I know I won't be good at that?
This is not a hobby, but like gingerbread house making, you guys. Cannot stand pumpkin carving.
Oh my God,
stand.
yeah.
Any holiday related crafting thing, I probably hate it because I just
like,
don't
what?
like
We're
it.
just gonna do this. It's gonna look ugly. I'm gonna hate my life doing it, and then we throw it away. Sounds like a waste of time to me. I feel that. Okay. Any other last minute thoughts? Things you want to leave the people with, as far as hobby maxing, pros, cons, good, bad?
I think if you are someone who wants to do hobby maxing, I give you my well wishes because I also partake, but I also think, and this is a message to myself as well, that it is okay to slow down and forget about, trying to accomplish it all and to leisurely go through things. You don't have to be quick with it. You don't have to be fast. You don't have to be, you can make mistakes and it's okay.
I also need to implement that because like there's times where like I'll put like, oh, I have a to-do list every day and I'll put like my hobby like on my to-do list. That should not be on my to-do list. If I have time for it, great, partake in your hobby. If not, that's okay. You didn't have to do it. But then I put pressure on myself to be like, well, I said I was going to book journal for an hour tonight and I didn't get to book journaling, so I failed my to-do list for the day. So I need to relax a little bit. All right.
With that, hopefully you guys enjoyed listening. Make sure you're subscribed to our podcast on YouTube. And if you're interested in joining our virtual book club, you can check the link down below. We will be posting our July book club this coming Saturday. So make sure you go check it out.
And if you guys have any hobbies you think we would enjoy, or if you hobby max or hobby stack yourselves, let us know your favorite ways to do that, because I do think sometimes it can increase like the, level of enjoyment of your hobby if you're able to combine them, in the right way. Hot Girl Walks, the audiobooks, like that can be a top tier like experience. Sometimes, as we discussed, sometimes you're stacking hobbies just to like get things done, and like we need to tone it down and just enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I thought it was fun to talk about all this stuff. Obviously I enjoy all these things for the most part. So yeah,
we will talk to you guys in our next podcast.
Bye.